Welcome, friends, to the Relevant Roundtable, where we meet every first and third Thursday of the month at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We like to just welcome you to the table tonight so that we can have a mainstream conversation about a journey that this young man has taken that has absolutely been phenomenal and has brought him to a place of evolution that, to be honest with you, many probably never thought that he would be. So tonight we have with us Derrick Coates. So Derrick Coates, welcome to the Relevant Roundtable, sir. I am going to just go ahead and pass this over to you. If you could tell us a little bit about yourself and some of the things that you are doing today.
Well, thank you, Tony, and I appreciate you for having me, affording me the opportunity to be a part of your platform and to have a conversation with you and to your followers, your listeners, and efforts to make some type of a positive impact on their lives. We've been childhood friends forever, eons. So for you to call me a young man, I take that as a compliment because that ain't the way my bones and my back feel in the morning. At 53, I really appreciate that. But you can see with all this gray, I've earned every bit of them. So, a little about me from Camden. My story is really no different than most ghettos, whatever you want to call it, the geographical setups. It's no different than others. I come up in the streets. I lived a life where I wanted everything fast and instant and, didn't think about the consequences. I just was more reliant on, I was more focused on what it was that I wanted and what I thought I needed. But growing up in the streets, you let your wants get in the way of your needs, and you don't understand the difference between the two. So, for a long time, I was throwing bricks at the prison and walking around with a shovel trying to dig my grave in so many ways. You know what I mean? Like it was just that's what it was for me. Trying to not knowing, but indirectly, I was trying to get into prison for the rest of my life or in my life much sooner than it had to be ended. Growing up in the streets, made a lot of excuses. So a lot of the things that I did were a result of my excuses. I need to have this, or I need to have that. I want to get this, I want to get that. But as you get older, you start to realize that all of those were nothing more than excuses. You know, for not wanting to put in the work, not wanting to do the things that you're supposed to do, which is where I'm at in life now. I take accountability and I understand that nothing good that's worth having is going to happen overnight. It's going to take some time. It's going to take life. You're going to have to live life and life is going to have to happen to you so that you can, learn. The biggest lessons come from mistakes and failures and things of that nature. So you go through these things and you learn that, okay, I made this mistake. Am I going to own this mistake or am I going to blame it on everybody else? So that way, when I start blaming it on everybody else, it's everybody else's fault but mine. Today, after doing too many years in prison, I can't even count how many times I've been in and out of the incarceration system. I know I started at a young age because your mother was, I hate to call her an employee, but at that time, that's what I seen her as. But she was a very inspirational figure to myself and so many other young men that went through the juvenile system. She was always there to give us encouraging words, and she believed in us at times when we didn't believe in ourselves. Some of us got it, most of us didn't, unfortunately. And I guess that goes back to the old cliche, if you can help one, that's satisfaction enough. I would like to hope that she was able to help not just me, but a few more. But I know it's impossible to get to all of us. She did a great job, but I didn't take it all at that point. I needed to go do more. So then I ended up in the adult prison system. People like to call it modern day slavery. Again, when you name it modern day slavery, you're making an excuse for what you did. Jails are there for a reason. You do things you're not supposed to do, you end up in there. It's just that simple. No running around it. This is, oh, I had to do this and this is the white man's fault or whatever. No, the jails are there and I did everything that I could do to get into prison, not knowing at the time that that's what I was doing. I did everything that I needed. My full-time job was trying to go to prison. Some might call that hustling. Some might call that, oh, I was selling dope, I was doing this and I was doing that. which at that time, not knowing my full-time job from the time I woke up to the time I went to sleep, all I was trying to do, my full-time job was I need to go to jail or die. You can't cut it or slice it no other way. I always tell people, I say, when you get up in the morning, you know, if you walk out of the house with a gun, you're telling the universe exactly what you want. I want to use this gun. And at some point, the universe is going to listen to you and hear you all the way out and give you exactly what you want. Same with drugs. Guns and drugs go together. So when you go out of the house every day with drugs, in your mind, your subconscious, unbeknownst to yourself in your crazy mind, your crazy way of thinking, you're saying, I just want to go make some money. But you're not. You're actually saying, I want to go and hurt some people. I want to poison some people. I want to hurt some people. I want to go to jail. I want to die because all of that's lined up together. Um, but it's no different than when, if you leave out of the house every day a piece of paper with some goals written down on it, a resume. You're telling the universe, I want a job. I want to start a business. As crazy as it may sound, you keep it on you long enough and you travel with it long enough, the universe is going to hear you. It's going to steer you in that direction. So, that's pretty much, me in a nutshell. I've been through it. I done seen it all. I done heard it all. I always tell people, I say, when I was 16, I never thought that I would make it to 18. When I got to 18, I said, there's no way in the world I'm gonna make it to 21. When I got to 21, I'm like, it's gonna be over with soon. Has to be. The life I was living is gonna be over with soon. And here I am at 53, and I'm like, damn, God really had plans for me. He really kept me here for a reason. And every day I try to figure out what that reason is. But what I do know is I know what he didn't keep me here for. I understand why he didn't. I understand that they always say, you know what you want. No, I know what I don't want. I don't know why he kept me. I just know he didn't take me. And there's a reason for it. And I'm living through it every day to try to figure it out. So, all the things that I've been able to accomplish, from starting my own detailing business out of prison, a successful one, I must say. Just at this point, I just opened my first halfway house. Who would have ever thought, me going through the system the way that I was going through the system, that one day I would open my own halfway house. It's funny how life works. They always say you want to make God laugh, tell him your plan, and he'll show you what he got for you. So, been a lot of spiritual growth, that came with the maturity. I still make mistakes. I'm not perfect. I still have to face the person that I was in the mirror every day. And it's like a 12 step. You know where you've come from. And if you ever forget where you come from, that's where you're lining yourself up to be in more trouble. So I always remind myself every day of where I come from when I look in the mirror because it's right there. And it's so easy to fall off and fall back. It's a struggle every day. I was chasing money, and that's the worst thing you can chase because it's so evasive. Can't keep up with it. When you chase money without the goal of being happy, being peaceful, I always tell people there's no peace in just getting money. You have to have peace before you get money. Because if you get money before you get peace, you're gonna be a miserable person. Because you're gonna now think that your money can buy you the peace that you should have had in place before you got to any money. I've learned that, just trying to be at a place where I just want to be peaceful, and not with the material things, just with me, just me being able to help people, try to guide them the way your mother guided me, and like I said, we don't always listen to the good things that are told to us, but it doesn't mean that when we get to a certain place in life, we don't try to go back and bring others along. Again, like I said, I never thought in a million years I'd be sitting down with the New Jersey State Parole Board and probationers talking about release plans for other inmates coming home. But that's what I'm doing now. And I take that, I'm very prideful of that. I had to work hard to get there. Like I said, I have a detailing business, 26 years. I'm about to retire. I never thought I'd retire from anything. But 26 years of detailing, and it all started in a prison cell, you know, And I'm in the room with him and we're watching the game and I'm telling him, I'm like, yo, one day I'm gonna work for them guys. I'm gonna work for them guys. They're gonna be my clients. They thought I was crazy. Fast forward 5 years after I get released, I come home, I got $500 to my name. Bought me a little pickup truck, and I had a goal. I knew what I needed. I started from where I was at. So I always tell people, start from where you're at, not from where you want to be. Because when you start, when going into business, it'll never be where you want it to be. That's a part of the building process. So you got to start with what you have to get you to where you're trying to go. And when you get there, you'll know, okay, listen, I put in the work to get to this point. And I said that in a prison stall that this is what I was going to do. Now I'm the official detailer for the Philadelphia Eagles, 76ers, Flyers, and the Phillies. I'm on speed dial with some of the biggest names you know in the city. I don't take that for granted. I don't let that go to my head, but I do understand that it wasn't given to me. I had to earn it. I had to get out. I had to work. I had to get 100 no's before I got one yes or one maybe. I had to get up and keep going. When I came home from jail, I went to Walmart and tried to get a job. And they told me, we can't hire you. You're a felon. Can't do it. You might be a good person, but you're a felon. You have to walk with that for the rest of your life. I always tell people I know my stake number better than I know my social security number. 519220 is gonna stick with me for the rest of my life. But it will not define me. I made it my business to not allow that number to define me. I went to jail. I went to prison, adult prison, twice. It was the second time that hurt me the most because I came home from that first prison bed. I probably was home for about 2.5 years. But when I came home that first time, all I had on my mind was I'm going to get money. Got right back into the streets. I started throwing bricks at the penitentiary and carrying the shovel on my back to dig my grave. But all I was worrying about was getting money. Well, when it caught up with me and I went back to prison, the same exact bed that I did my time in the first time, I slept in that same bed. No, like not figuratively speaking, literally. I went right back to room B-E, Baker's Unit, Leesburg State Prison. That same room was waiting for me. That was the room that I ended up doing my 5 years in. And I said, you know what? I can't do this no more. Can't do it no more. This place is real. And one thing, people they don't close prisons down just because they're overcrowded. They don't close prison down because nobody's going to jail. They close prisons down to build bigger ones, more high tech ones. Because we're going to jail now. Our young people and older people are going to jail now at an alarming rate. It's an epidemic. People think COVID, that was the pandemic. This generation's pandemic. My pandemic was the crack era. For my generation, when we were growing up, it was the crack pandemic. Now it's the COVID pandemic. That's where all the scammers and all of that stuff came into play, you know. And yeah, it killed a lot of us. A lot of the jails are overcrowded. They're building new ones. And like I said, I slept in that bed for 5 years. It hurt. It hurt bad. Because I'm like, damn. Of all the, like, going to jail is hard enough, but to have to go to jail and lay back in the same bed I was released from, they knocked on that door that morning and said, Coach, you ready to go? You can go home now. Your parole papers are done. The first time. And when I went back, they walked me right back to that room 2.5 years later. So go ahead in there. You know what it is. And even to this day, I've been home now 18, almost 18 years. Haven't had as much as a speeding ticket. One thing's for certain, two things for sure. I already know that bed is still waiting for me, peacefully. Even if somebody's sleeping in it now, it's waiting for me to come back. It'll never go away. As long as I have 519220, that's what they know me by. When I get pulled over, I've got pulled over, and in that period of time, and when a cop come to my car, he said to me, I know your whole profile. I know everything about you. I'm like, damn, I'm not even from this town. I'm just traveling. But everything comes up. Where you've been, what you've done. And I can profile you just off of that. But because you're dealing with me like a human and I'm dealing with you like a human, I'm gonna give you a fair shake. If you have everything that I'm asking you for, license, registration, insurance, I'm gonna let you be on your way. But understand this: that when somebody gets behind you, they can tell your whole history. And I say that only to say this: nobody knows. People know, but nothing stands out like your bad days, no matter how much good I've done. You know, like I said, I've started a successful business. I've received, notoriety from public officials. You know, just all the great things. But that's something that's going to be with me for the rest of my life. And I always want to tell the young people and the older people, like, be mindful of that. Like, be mindful of it. So,
So, how did you debunk the mindset of the penitentiary in order to get to where you are today?
so on my first day back on my second prison term, I felt like my first day of freedom was my first day of lockup. And what I mean by that is the first day I went into prison was the first day I really was able to embrace some type of freedom. And what I mean is I was no longer tied to the things that were pulling me in a direction to make me go and do the things that I was doing. I knew at that time that from the day that I went in, I needed to start thinking like a free man. Meaning I needed to use every aspect of my free thinking because you just have my body in here. You don't have my mind. You have a choice when you go to jail. You can let the time do you or you do the time. I chose to go in. Like I got all of that out of my system in the county jail. Once the verdict was in and the sentence was rendered, I understood then that I got to take this ride. Now it's about how am I going to take this ride? Am I going to take this ride with a seatbelt on? Or am I going to take this ride just whatever? And whatever wasn't an option for me because I knew I wanted to make it to the other side. I knew I had things to do. I knew I still had life. And so on my first day, I said in prison, when they activated my number, I said, I'm going to first accept accountability. I'm not going to be mad at the judge for sentencing me. I'm not going to be upset with the officer for arresting me. I'm not going to be upset with the people that I was doing business with. Like, all of those are just steps along the way. But the first step towards those things, the people that I was dealing with, the cops that locked me up, the lawyers, the judges, was based on my action. So I had to be accountable within myself. And that's a lot for an adult to do, especially men. You know, you had a guest on here that I was very, very impressed with. I want to say the gentleman Leon. I was very impressed with some of the things that he said. You know, narcissism is a real thing. It's a real thing. It's a real disease. And if you're like a bona fide hardcore narcissist like myself, we don't take accountability for nothing. It's everybody else's fault. You know, my kid's mom put me on child support. It's their fault. Uh, my money ain't right. It's the government's fault. You know, if I go up to if I go to the bank teller to cash a check and I don't have the right ID, it's her fault or his fault. It's everybody's fault but my fault. You understand what I'm saying? Like you just can't live. You can't live life like you know how many times I used to go to the bank and try to cash a check and they ask me for credentials and I'd be like, why I gotta go through all of that? And you're like, but now I'm at a place in my life where I'm like, if I go in the bank now and unless I'm like steady banking with this bank for a long time and they know me, if you don't ask me for ID, oh, it's going down. It's going down. Like, yo, get your manager over here. You new here. I got too much going on in this bank. You don't know me. You should be asking me for ID. I wasn't. No, ask me for ID. So it's accountability. Like what actions have I put into place that made all of these things that didn't go right for me go the way that they went? So it all comes back to accountability. When you're accountable for the things that you do, everything else kind of works itself out. And that's, again, that's a part of the peace process. Being accountable will bring a level of peace to you because you're no longer fighting your truth. You're no longer trying to get other people to believe your bullshit. You own it. You understand what I'm saying? You own it. It's like, nah. Yeah, it's easier to dump this off on you. Yeah, it's easier to say it's your fault. It's hard to be a man. But for 53 years, that's all I've ever been. And I learned every day how to try to be a better man than I was yesterday. Because yesterday I wasn't as good of a man then as I am today because I learned some lessons within them 24 hours. Every set of 24 that I get comes with a set of lessons. No matter how big, no matter how small, it comes with a lesson. At 53, I got a lot of lessons. And as soon as I started having accountability, I'll give you an example. My kids, I got 6 daughters and a son. I probably got a good relationship with none of them. And that's because of me. That's because there's a part of me that felt like, and I hope they see it. Somebody says something to them like, "Hey, you see your dad?" Like, you know, for so long, I want them to just talk to me. Let's have a conversation. Let's 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 heal the wounds. Well, as a narcissist, you feel like those wounds that you created should be and could be healed on your time. That's not how life works. When you hurt people, I got daughters. I hurt girls. That's a different type of pain. And that don't you don't get to heal that type of pain when you say let's heal it. Because you hurt females. I've hurt females all my life. It was all I knew how to do was hurt females. So at some point it's like, hey man, understand this. The common denominator between you and all of the females that you hurt and all these kids that you left out here on these streets to do the things that you did, the common denominator is you. So you can't keep blaming them for you, for what you didn't do, what you should have done instead of what you did. And what you did was blame them. It was easier. It was easier. It's easy to be mad. It's easy to feel like, you know what? They don't want to talk to me, then the hell with them. They don't have to talk to me. The hardest part is saying, you know what? I screwed up so bad with you guys and your moms. Like, I used to hate my kids' mom. Like, hate them. I can't stand them. They just make me sick. No, not really. Like, I said one time, and I can't even believe I actually let these words come out of my mouth. Man, oh, she get hit by a bus. What? What in your right mind would make you say something like that about somebody that brought a life into this world for you, with you? If something happens to her, then your children is gonna feel that. And like I said, for so long, I just felt like it was just easier for me to blame them. And then one day I was hurting. Man, like my depression kicked in so bad one day, man. Like you hear the way this rain hitting this rooftop, that's the way the tears was hitting my face in my car. Windows not tinted. People looking at me. What's wrong? I could not stop crying because it all came down on me. Like, yo, the only way you're gonna at least try to start moving in the right direction with this situation here, because that's to me, that's the most important situation in my life. That's the only thing that it was at that point that I realized that money can't buy it. Money can't fix nothing. My little girls and my son can call me for anything. I'll give it to them. Here. But then I think when I give it to them, it make things all right. No, it don't. They just need something. So of course, hey, let me get, and they don't even do that now. They're like, you know what? Keep that. Because I'll never give you the satisfaction of feeling like you gave me something and now I have to reciprocate that with the love that you think I'm supposed to give to you. Man, you've taken more from me than you've ever given me. My daughters had to go on proms by themselves, get their period for the first time by themselves, learn how to love a man, learn how to be loved. Like they had to go through all the things that a young lady has to go through without their father. But then I think, all right, if you need $1,000, call me up. I'll give it to you. No, that's wrong. That ain't it. That don't fix it. And if I do give you $1,000 now, I'm like, Father's Day come by, you ain't wishing me happy Father's Day. Well, I didn't know I was supposed to. Well, I gave you some money. That's where you're wrong at. So what, you gave me some money? I needed it and I asked you for it and you gave it. If you would have not given it to me, life still goes on. And like I said, at that point, it was one of those things where I'm like, damn, man, this ain't right. No amount of money in the world can make this right. How I feel about their moms, like, I just, if I could get on the phone with one of them, just say, all of them, and say, hey, man, I'm sorry. I could have did better. I didn't. I don't have a reason for it. I can give you a million excuses why I was the person that I was. But until I can come to you and give you one reason, none of them excuses mean anything. Don't mean nothing. Because, you know, accountability is priceless. You know, the only thing better than accountability at this point in my life is availability. I just want to be available for them. You understand what I'm saying? I want a chance to be available for them. But then I worry about, I try to talk to them and they reject me. I get mad. Oh, y'all should be talking to me. Oh, I'm never talking to y'all again. I don't care. You know, and it's one of the hardest things that I have to live with. Let me show you something. So I keep this with me every day. I have 6 daughters. One's gone, and when she left, we weren't on the good terms. And again, the tears still to this day run down my face like it's nobody's business. Because I should have found it within myself as a man to make this right. You don't play with lives that you've created. And because you're a man, you know, feel like y'all gotta listen to me. Y'all gotta do this. Y'all gotta do that. It don't work that way. It don't. If I can get just, I know it'll never happen, but I keep her near me. I keep her spirit with me. I keep her, her energy with me. But all I ever wanted to say was, I'm sorry. You know, I don't know what to do. It's all right to ask for help along the way. I go to counseling. I got a therapist. Um, and again, like I said, no amount of money, no amount of success can ever um, make it better. All I can do at this point is just pray and make myself available. Pray that God continues to make me available. You know, I'll, I always tell people say, yeah, well, you only live once, so you might as well just, enjoy your life while you can. And I say, no, you live every day. You die once, and you live every day to try to do better by those that you've done wrong by. That part of it, again, there's so many things. Coming home from jail. You know, jail is a real thing. So yes, we do suffer from PST, whatever that's PSTD, whatever post traumatic syndrome. It's a real thing coming out of jail. You know, I don't want to start bashing jail because I think to a degree, jail is a necessary evil. The best thing that could have happened to me was going to jail in so many ways because I took that time to try to work on me, not try. I feel like I've taken that time to work on me. I wouldn't be where I'm at in my mind space if I didn't use that time in a way that said, you know what, do as much as you can while you can, because this ain't gonna be your life forever. Make it back to society. You're gonna need to take all the tools that you've accumulated while you were here, all the mental tools. You know, the mental fortitude. You would need to have the mental fortitude to say, you know what, I've learned to discipline myself in here. I'm gonna apply that same level of discipline to my life when I get home. All my success, I failed as a father in so many ways. And I feel there's so many other brothers out there that they feel the same way. I hear these stories, man, where the kids, it's like, I know I'm not in the boat by myself. I know I'm not in that boat by myself. We can fix it, but it starts with us.
So, with having PTSD and going through, the things that you have gone through, in order to work on yourself and gain that level of accountability, how do you differentiate when you have authentic peace or when your peace may be superficial?
I know the difference between superficial and authentic. Anything that money can buy ain't gonna it does not produce peace. I'm sorry. I mean, money is a tool that helps along the way, but until you can be, you know, dead broke or find happiness in making somebody that you love smile, that's when you find that's peace. That's authentic peace. Authentic peace, you know, again, not bragging, but I mean I went in my garage probably about a year ago, and I just stood and I looked around and I'm like, damn, I got like $300,000 worth of cars sitting in here that belong to me. But none of them, I'm not happy. I'm not happy about. I don't drive them. None of them make me. When I do drive them, none of them make me feel good. Actually, when I drive them, I'm scared. You understand what I'm saying? Like my nerves are on. Like I didn't realize because again, I grew up in a time where it was good to have stuff and flash stuff but you never knew. I didn't realize that. Like I was waving steak at hungry wolves. So I'm like, did I really just like? What does this do for my peace? You know what I mean? Like, so I got rid of all of them. I put it on social media. I took them all back. People are like, what are you doing now? I'm like, because this don't. I need to get something else first. I need to work on something else first before I can come back to that. And don't get me wrong, I love cars. I'm into them heavy. Cars saved my life. I detail. So go figure. It was either this or the streets, and I chose this. But authentic peace comes from the things that money can't buy. Being on good terms with your kids, you know, doing right by your mom. I'm blessed to still have my mom, 81 years old. She cusses me out every day. But I tell people, I said, I wouldn't trade that in for the world. She talk crazy to me every day. I was like, I wouldn't trade in for the world because I know somebody out there that wish they can hear their mom cuss them out. She ain't here no more. I still got mine. And that's it's those things that make me understand the difference between, and that also defines success for me too. Success doesn't come in the form of money. You can have all the money you want. It doesn't make you successful. Because the thing you were successful at making money. I know how to make money. I made money in my sleep. You know me. I've been making money all my life. You know, I've been making money all my life, and I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you the honest to God truth. Like that's always been something I've been good at. But was I ever successful doing those runs? No, because I was always scared. I was always fearful. I didn't trust anybody. I didn't have any happiness in my heart. Look, happiness and malice can't live in the same house. So when you out there doing the things that I was doing to get money, that was malice in my heart. You have to be some type of a psychopath to think that those types of actions, where malice comes from, can live in the same heart as happiness. Not gonna happen. So while I'm out here destroying lives, I'm thinking I'm gonna make mine better. How does that happen? It doesn't. There's no way. So again, like I said, when I got to that second prison bid, it did it for me. I'm like, I can't. This ain't it. I can't do this no more. Because prison, the only thing worse than prison is death. Those that have never been, don't go. The only thing worse than prison is death. And it's not because you can't have money, it's because you can't have freedom. And
Mm.
freedom is something that most of us take for granted, as we should. But you can make it, you can get to this point in your life. You can get to a point in this life where you understand privilege. You understand that freedom is a privilege, not a right. Freedom is a privilege, not a right. Do something wrong and they'll show you. Do something you don't have no business doing and they'll show you. It's not a privilege, it's a right. If you're living life the way you're supposed to, doing the things that you're supposed to do, then that privilege will be afforded to you. Nobody can take that away from you. You know, it's like living in a rented house. You don't own you don't own the house. You can be put out. But as long as you pay your bills and take care of what you need to take care of, you're fine. You're good to go. So treat your freedom like it's a privilege and not a right. And everything else works itself out. That's peace for me.
Coming from where you have been to where you are today, how did you navigate the process of renewing your mind and relationships? Because I asked that question because I would imagine that it could be challenging coming home to a place where there may be the same thoughts, the same conversations. We want to talk about the past, we want to reminisce, but yet you have an understanding that you are destined for something greater.
That is a battle because it's tremendously hard to cut off old things. But again, um, my mindset was when I came home, and like I said, I had $500 to my name, but I had a name, and I understood that this can work one or two ways for me. I can go over to Poppy and be like, "Yo, I stood up. I didn't tell on nobody. I took my licking like I was supposed to. I'm back. Let me get a couple of them things." Cool. You can get that because again, I had 500 to my name, but I had my name. So that was an option. Bigger option was bet what you have on you. Bet everything that you have on your ability to be successful at the plan that you've put together. Give your plan a chance. And my plan was always set up for me first, not with nobody else, not with other folks' involvement or none of that. And I had to, in jail, again, these are tools that you've learned. I made it through jail because I was antisocial. And I only spoke to people that I felt like were going to benefit from the things that I told them. And and in reverse, I only wanted to speak to people that I could benefit from talking to. So just that alone, was enough for me to start to cut down on the types of relationships, the types of individuals that I chose to be in close communications with. When I came home, I had to really apply that because, coming from prison, it's like going from high school to the NBA. You're the number one draft. Everybody wants you on their team. They know you're a winner. They know you come through. They want you on their team, and they're gonna do everything they need to do to get you on their team. Well, using that analogy, you know, when I came home, were there people there that said, "Hey, man, you know, got something for you. Come on, let's go out. We got all your clothes for you. Got money for you. Got a car for you. We got everything you need. We got the starter kit for you to get back in the fast lane." And I'm like, nah, I can't do it. If you want to invest in my dream, cool. But I'm not going to invest in your nightmare. And you might not see that right now. And it was crazy because people were literally looking at me like I was out of my mind. Like I literally, when I started washing cars, I literally went to the clubs that I used to go to. I had to, some would say it was embarrassed. I had to embarrass myself. I had to humble myself because it got to a point where people would say, you know, and we gonna call it like they used to call it. You know, Rudy out there washing car. He work at a car wash now. He wash cars. Rudy's working it. Yeah, he washed cars. That it was the running joke. Girls that I was dealing with, it was the running joke. Rudy wash cars. Oh man, yeah. What they left out was I own the car wash that I wash cars at. See, if you know anything about me, you know, hey man, I have no problems. Like I said, man, listen, you could put me on the fries at McDonald's. I guarantee you, as sure as ish stinks, put me on fries, and in a year I'm gonna have a franchise. Cause I'm getting on fries to learn this operation. We smart. We're some of the smartest people on the face of this earth. We're some of the most invasion, like the things that we come up with will blow your mind. Some of the smartest people that I know are in jail. All they have to do is get out and give their thought. Like, trust your mind, believe in you. People will doubt themselves because they are around a bunch of other people that doubt themselves. So when you already are not like 100% committed to you and you get around other people that are like 100% not committed to them, then you're all going to be riding in a non-committed car and it's going to crash fast. So I was in a committed car, and my car didn't have room for other people to ride in. I made it that way. Like, nah, I'm not. Nah, I up until a couple years ago, I used to tell people, like, man, if you ever see me in a car with three people, call the cops, because I ain't supposed to be in that car. These niggas kidnapping me. They trying to do something to me. Like, if you ever see me in a car with three people, call the cops. And if you see me in a car with one person longer than an hour, and that's too long, call the cops. Because I'm so to myself. I don't have room for others to cloud my process. It's been that way. It's been working. So you have to learn how to be respectfully antisocial. I'm respectfully antisocial. I know how to tell you I don't want to be bothered without like telling you, hey man, I don't want to be bothered with you. Nah. You know what you're trying to do. You know what you need to do. You know, if you know you gotta work and run your business on Monday, you don't go out on Sunday. So that crowd that go out on Sunday, y'all not going to jail because they like going out on Sundays. You got responsibility. You know, I'm working on Sunday. I don't have a job to go to on Monday because my job works 7 days a week. I work 8 days a week, 25 hours a day. Real talk. That's how it's been. And I had to commit myself to that. So cutting people off that didn't ride like I did, I had to do it in jail. I had a choice. Am I going to join a gang? You know what I mean? Like, am I going to be a blood? Am I going to be a crip? Am I going to do any of these things? And I was friendly with all of them. But once I realized that I didn't need to do any, I like it when I came in, I already knew. Stay to myself. Your dreams are somebody else's nightmare because they can't think as far and as hard as you do. It takes a certain level of commitment to come out of jail and go at it. One thing as men we don't like, just human beings, we don't like no. No is hard. It's hard in business. It's hard with my kids. When they shut me down, I'm like, damn, I didn't want to hear that. But I still got to keep going. And I pray. And God, make that right. Make it right for them first. Put it in their hearts. My heart is always open. And I'm gonna do the best that I can to make it better for them. But I can't force into them what's in my heart. I know I messed up. I know I want to do better. I can't force into other people's mind that, hey man, let's get this business going. Let's make this happen. We can do this. And I did it. My business was able to thrive because, as sad as it is, strangers did it for me. Strangers really helped me get to the next level. And they'll do that. They don't look like me and you, but they'll help you. They'll, even if it's just with words of encouragement, advice. People always think it's about money. It's not about the money. It's about what are you letting into your mind? What are you letting people put into your ears? What are you letting people plant into your heart? Hey man, I always look at my friends. I say I hang around gardeners because whatever seeds they planting, if they not planting the right ones, whatever they're planting, they're gonna help. They're gonna cultivate that if I give them the opportunity. They're gonna cultivate it to the point that it grows either positive or negative. I have a mentor, you know, I have a therapist, you know, I have a book. I read. You know what I mean? I journal. I write stuff down. Like I find quiet time for myself. You know, I like social media. I don't love it. I come and go. I give it a certain amount of time and then I get out of there. I only get on it and I'm guilty of some stuff. The only time I get on it is like sometimes I want to remind you who I am. Like, hey man, don't play with me, man. Like this is what I do. This is what I do, and you can do the same thing. It comes from that place. It don't come from I'm better than you. Look what I got. No, it's I think everybody I know, everybody, and I've said this before. I said in a news interview that they did on me. I said it before. All of us are given a God-given talent. We're all given a God-given talent. And once you tap into that talent, you are unstoppable. There's nothing you can do. But you have to own it. You have to commit to it. You have to hold that thing like your life depended on it. And that's how it happened. That's how it happened.
I want to go back before we wrap up. I want to go back really quick because you said something pretty impactful, and that was you had a name, but now you have a name. And so, do you believe that the evolution of your name has afforded you the opportunity to be in front of those people that you are in front of right now?
Yes, absolutely. I had a name, and that name, I wouldn't be who I am. You got to take the good and the bad. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I can show you the prettiest rose in the world, and I guarantee you, it didn't take all. You couldn't grow that rose with sunshine and alone, and you couldn't grow it with rain alone. So you had to. It had to evolve from some stuff, and my evolution and who I've been able to grow into has everything to do with me just understanding that my past has a lot to do with my present. My present will have a lot to do with my future. I don't even have to tell people not to call me that no more. It's just something like people automatically like they kind of like they look at me now and they're like, "Man, I don't even feel right calling you that." I'm like, "Why?" I'm still nah, I just something about that just don't seem right, Derek. And I'm like, I appreciate it. It makes me feel good, you know what I mean? Because it's like, all right, so now you're telling me that in so many ways you're proud of my growth and you're about my growth. And you don't want to, you don't, even that is like, man, is that going? I know we've known each other for 100 years, but I don't want that to even get in the way of what you're doing. Because even when I hear it, I could be in a room and it 50,000 people. I hear somebody say, "Rude," I don't hear nothing but that. Yeah, like what? Like what's going on? But now it's like I embrace it. When I talk to young people, I can't tell the story without talking about him. I can't. Rudy was very immature. He was very promiscuous. He had no respect for himself or others. You know, he had no fear. And the worst thing you can do in this life is have no fear. Now that don't mean don't go after things that scare you. Because I do go after things that scare me as far as when business is concerned. I don't get into no business unless it scares me. Because if it don't scare me, it ain't big enough. So for me, it's like, you know, I go for man, listen. And I didn't even tell nobody I wanted to open a halfway house. Because I knew if I told certain people that, they'd be like, what? You open a halfway house? I'm like, yeah, like what are you talking about? Like, yeah, I want to open a halfway house. No, stop thinking like that. Like you're crazy. But I told the people who I watch accomplish big and scary dreams, I told them that. And to them, it was like that was small. So it was doable. It was big, but it was small to them. You know what I mean? Because I can't be around nobody that I want to be around people that got more than me. I'm trying to get there. And when I say more than me, I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about these are people that I would go and wash their cars on a Sunday, sweating, bullets going crazy. And I was taking no days off. What I learned from these people on a Sunday was they was just laying back with their family barbecuing. And I'm like, how do I get there? That don't have anything to do with money. That has everything to do with time, valuable time that they're doing something with it. So I want to get there. I can make money. I ain't worrying about that. That happens. But it's about what do you do with your time? Because it's the one thing that we're not gonna get no more of. And just even like time is funny. All this time we've been on this phone, I mean on this call, neither one of us are younger now than we were when we started. We got older. That's how time works. It'll it'll go by just like that. I don't count the days no more. I count the seasons. How many more summers? How many more winters? How many more Christmas? Because when you're young, all you thinking about is today. You don't even realize that while you were so caught up in the moment, that that yesterday is pat like all these yesterdays are going. And you look up, you're 53. Oh shit. How that happen? What happened? How we get where what happened? Because we didn't take the time to embrace the time. So for me, more than anything, time, peace, reclaiming my time, finding peace in reclaiming my time is the ultimate level of success. And I just want your audience to understand that. You can get that, you'll be all right. Because time, it gives you, like, take that time and do something much more valuable than going out there and making money, make an impact on somebody's life.
So, Derek, you are also known as the dopest detailer, which I think is dope, right? Um, just in closing, why don't you share with our audience a nugget or a piece of wisdom that you think would carry them through their journey to get them to the other side, such as you have. And then if you could also just tell our audience um, where they can find you on social media if they wanted to contact you, to get some advice or anything like that.
You can reach me out on Instagram at Best Hands Detailing. I think it's Best Hands Detailing LLC, or you can reach me at the Dopest Detailer, or you can, yeah, those are good enough. Best Hands Detailing or the Dopest Detailer. Um, what I will say, and I'll go right back to it, is really not complicated. I try my best to keep things as simple as possible because don't want to complicate things. Believe in you. Believe in you, believe in your ideal. No ideal is too crazy. If it ain't crazy, you shouldn't be doing it. And don't let fear stand in your way of moving forward. Allow fear to get behind you and chase you to the point where you're afraid of ever not finding peace, not finding success, not finding happiness. Let your fear chase you into that. Don't let it stop you from getting to it. Because fear, again, like I said, can be a brick wall in front of you, or it can be a tiger behind you chasing after you. I don't, I run from my fears into my success. So if you can do that, commit yourself. The biggest thing is committing yourself to your ideals, um, and being accountable, like being willing to learn from the mistakes. You're going to make mistakes in business. You're not going, everything isn't going to go right. It's the hardest thing to ever do to be an entrepreneur. So don't be afraid of making mistakes. Don't be afraid of not getting it right the first time, because guess what? If you stick to it, the next time that problem happens, you'll know, okay, how to get past that. That's all business is making a bunch of mistakes until you're able to accomplish your goal. And as you get to your goal, you'll set bigger goals, but you set them one small goal at a time. And then before you know it, again, like I said, your todays will be yesterday, and your yesterdays will quickly become tomorrow. You stick to your plan, you stick to your goal. And again, the other thing, don't worry about who's not supporting you. Because the people that are cheering the hardest for you, that are rooting the hardest for you to succeed, aren't the people that you see every day. They're not going to give you what you think you need to get to the next level, which is the likes, which are the compliments, which is the support, the actual support. You sell t-shirts, don't look for your friends to buy any of them. They not gonna buy them. You sell dinners, don't look for your friends to buy them. They not gonna. You listen. If you sell cheesesteaks, all your friends gonna be vegans, just like that. They gonna all be vegans. Like, yo, you don't. Now I don't eat meat no more, but keep going. I got people to this day, man. It's funny. People say I had somebody. I ain't gonna say who, but I had this dude say to me, and I knew it was like low key hate. He's like, man, how that little car wash thing going? I said, you mean the one I've been running for 26 years? That one? Okay. It's doing well. I can't complain. And then, like I said, and I say 26 years because the first time I went to prison, I was washing cars, but I was trying to walk two sides of the fence. And you cannot walk two sides of the fence. You can't walk good and bad together and expect to be successful. So when I first started, I, I, I hate to say what I should have did, because I feel like everything I did was what I was supposed to do. Because had I done anything different, I wouldn't be able to sit here and talk to you about it right now. My business was started before I went to jail. And when I went to jail, it hit that hard, it hit that much more harder because I knew better. I knew better. But I did it anyway. So that's my nugget. I hope somebody can take it and do something with it. Believe in yourself, put you first, bet on you. Um, Commit yourself to it. I don't care what you do. Commit to it. Make it happen. And call me if you need me. DM me. We can talk. Or follow me. I got some pretty cool stuff going on. Oh, and another thing that was actually pretty cool for me that I say, one of my guys, one of my mentors, I have like four of them. They're like, hey man, stop right here. And I think this goes back to go back to the question that you asked me earlier about how my surroundings. Think about the people that you're around, and think about the people they're around. And then ask yourself, what's my 6 degrees of separation from whatever these people got going? Now, let me just bring this home and wrap it up for you. Yesterday, I was with Jalen Hurts. Calls me, texts me, whatever. These are people in my circle. I can call them friends, but now it's even deeper than that, because I'm like, damn, if he's my friend and Michael Jordan is his friend, and then somebody is Michael Jordan's friend, my 6 degrees of separation from Michael Jordan right now as we speak is Jalen. It's between Jalen Hurts is between me and Michael Jordan. Go figure. So find out. It's important to find out who, like, what's your 6 degrees of separation with the friends, with the circle you have. It's simple. Who do you know? What do you do? What do they do? And who do they know? Because at the end of the day, as cliche as this going to sound, it's not about your network. It's not about your net worth. It's about your network. It ain't about what you know. It's about who you know. People in strong positions will put you in places that you could never even imagine. I could tell stories that'll make your head turn on your shoulders right now, but we ain't gonna do that. If you want me on again, we could talk about that. But yeah, it's all about networking. Don't be afraid to talk to people, you know. And I hate humans, but I love people because one thing about humans, you can always depend on them to be humans, and they gonna do something to make you know they're human. But when you have genuine people in your life, people ain't gonna just do anything because they take pride in being a person. They take pride in being personable. So, like I said, I see you made that face and said, "Ooh, you hate humans." I hate humans. I love people. Let's love each other, man. Be good.
Well, thank you so much, Derrick, for joining us tonight. As we close out this episode, thank you for tuning in. Remember that we are here at the Relevant Roundtable every first and third Thursday of each month. Uh, Thank you again for joining the table.